10 minutes. That's all the time it took for my fate to be sealed. 10 minutes after my sister Lily was born, I arrived, the uninvited guest, the mistake, the spare, in my pack. Being a twin isn't a blessing, it's a sentence. While my sister was the golden princess, I was the girl who lived in the attic, the ghost who cleaned the rooms of the hotel my family owned. But tonight, in room 4027, I found something I wasn't supposed to. A man bleeding on the floor. A man who smells like rain and ancient woods. And for the first time in 19 years, the spare is the only thing that matters. I was born 10 minutes after my sister Lily, and that unfortunately set my fate. You see, my mother only wanted one pup. Instead, she got two. My twin sister Lily was the princess to my mother, and I was what she called the spare. That is my name, Spare Williams. My sister had sunny golden hair, golden tan skin, bright green eyes, and a lovely figure. I, on the other hand, had dark brown hair, dark brown eyes, pale skin, and a plain figure. My father said that he got a daughter like his mother and one like his mother-in-law. I took after his mother. I never knew my grandparents on my father's side, as they both died before we were born. My mother's parents, on the other hand, I wish I did not know. They were mean, cruel, and judgmental. My father, Eric, is the younger brother of our current alpha, Michael. He has always gone on business trips, checking on allies and the various businesses that the pack owns. My mom was on several committees, and everything had to be perfect. Well, that is, except for me. No matter what I did or how well I did it, it was never enough. As I got older, I started to care less and less about my mother's perfection. Mostly, I just stayed away or in the shadows. I wasn't allowed to eat with the family. When I was younger, I would wait for them to go to bed so I could steal food from the kitchen. Now, with my job, I can just buy the things I need. My bedroom was in the attic. I had a mattress for a bed, a blanket, and a pillow, an old dresser for what little clothes I had. Over the years, they would put all their old junk up here, so I added things as they came along. I went to the same school as all the other pack members. I was pretty much invisible, except when Lily wanted to show off to her snobby friends. We turned 19 last month. I kept my grades a secret from my family. I am a junior because my sister flunked the 9th grade. My mother had my sister and me redo the 9th grade. She told everyone that I was the one who was too stupid to pass. And Lily, the saint that she was, had stayed back with me for support. I will be graduating with the seniors. I take advanced classes with the help of some of my teachers. I have completed my entry-level courses for college. I want to be a doctor. As soon as graduation is over, I am leaving. I have enough money saved up from my job. I have to keep that hidden as well, or Lily will find it. God only knows what she would do with it. I worked extremely hard cleaning hotel rooms for every penny I have, and the thought of her getting it makes my skin crawl. Lily gets $300 a month to spend on frivolous things. Not that she pays for her clothes or anything else like gas for her new car. I know I sound like I'm envious. Well, maybe a little. It's because she gets all the love and attention while I'm not even allowed to use the front door. That reminds me, the grandparents are coming over tonight for dinner. It doesn't matter anyway. It's Friday. I picked up an extra shift at the hotel. I would like to say that work at least gives me some friends to talk to, but it doesn't. It's just me and the cleaning cart. Every day I tell myself, soon. There is one girl I am friendly with. She is an Omega and is kind of invisible like me. We used to chat almost every day, but she just disappeared a week ago. I tried to look around and ask a few pack members, but I didn't want or need any extra attention. I just hope she is okay. Thank the goddess for my one and only true friend, my wolf, Artemis. She is so beautiful, a white wolf with black on the tips of her paws. Her eyes are even darker than mine. She is fast, very fast. She has kept me sane growing up and is my motivation when I sometimes feel like giving up. So here I am, pushing my cleaning cart from room to room. You really don't understand how messy people can be until you work as a maid in a hotel. It truly makes me wonder what their houses look like. I knock on the door, but there is no answer, so I knock a little louder. Nothing. I use my key and open the door just a little to say, housekeeping. Anyone here? Again, nothing. So I grabbed some supplies and headed in. The bathroom is first on the left, so I start there. I turn on the light, expecting the usual mess. I am surprised when it is neat. I clean everything and restock the extras. I then turn on the light for the main room and I gasp. There on the floor is a man without a shirt, unconscious. I sigh. It's just what I need, another drunk. I grab a towel off the cart and cover him up. Then I reach down and shake his shoulder. And that is when I see the blood running down his face. Oh God, he is hurt. I shake him gently one more time, and he moans. Sir, can you hear me? He moans again, this time starting to move. He rolls over on his back. I am thinking of going to the front desk for help, but I can't afford a phone, so I can't call. He is a big guy, very tall, well-built, with tan skin and dark hair. When he opens his eyes, they are so unusual. They are a bright gold that seems to have a life of its own. His scent is intoxicating, a combination of the deep woods and rain. I can tell that his wolf is looking back at me too. I back away a little. I'm sorry if I was too close. You were unconscious. Are you okay? Let me get a cold washcloth for your forehead. Duncan, I woke to the sweetest voice. I almost thought I was still dreaming. Then I remembered how I ended up on the floor hurt. My wolf, Apollo, assured me that I was healing. There was nothing to worry about. That is when she comes back with a cold washcloth. It took the sting out of the cut, and her scent hit me. It's a strange combination of roses and peppermint. She is gorgeous, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. Both my wolf and I spoke at the same time. Mate. At the same time, a look of horror came across her face, and she bolted out the door. I can still hear her words as she ran. No, please, not now. Without thinking, I ran after her. I caught her just as she was heading for the back door. I wrapped my arms around her, and she started to panic. Shh. Little wolf, I am not going to hurt you. She stopped moving and was quiet. I carried her over my shoulder back to my room. I noticed how small she was, and that she hardly weighed anything at all. I could feel her breathing. It was still fast, but slowly calming down. Spare Artemis was going crazy in my head. She was so frustrated that I could have slapped her. Stop it. This messes up everything. He is our mate. He can help us. Take in his scent. He isn't from our pack. He went inside his room and shut the door, locking it behind him. He sat me gently down on the bed as he went to get a pair of his jeans. Just as he was buttoning them up, I bolted for the door, catching her quickly this time. He sat down with me on his lap. Tell me, my little wolf, why are you so afraid? Please, I whimpered. You have to let me go. I can't stay here in this pack anymore. You will ruin all my plans. Calm down, little wolf, and smell me again. Third-person perspective. Spare looked at him for a little bit and then sniffed his scent again. It was the same as before, but there was something else. OMG, you're not from this pack. He smiled at her, taking her all in. His wolf, Apollo, was doing happy circles in his head. A very smug Artemis was saying, I told you so, over and over in her head. What is your name, my little wolf? My name? With a chuckle, he asked her again. Yes, my little wolf, your name. Hanging her head in shame, she whispered, My name is Spare. His mind couldn't get around it. What kind of name was Spare? As in a spare tire? That kind of spare? Yes, as in that spare. It's clear it embarrassed her, so he decided to drop it for now. My name is Duncan McKenney of the Storm Crow Moon Pack. Spare didn't know a lot about the Storm Crow Moon Pack, only that it is a mysterious and secretive pack that the Wolf King hires to hunt down criminals and rogues. My full name is Spare Williams of the Rising Moon Pack. His eyes went from golden to an almost copper color when she said her name. His voice gave off a low growl when he asked, Williams, as in Michael and Eric Williams? Yes, my father is Eric. I met Eric's daughter, Lily. There was no mention of another daughter. Lily is my twin sister. There was no mention of me, because I am the Spare. I don't exist to them unless they want to vent some anger or need an ego boost. It broke his heart to see her shrug it off as if it was normal. There were so many questions and so little time to get the answers. She isn't going to like what he has to tell her next. Duncan, no, my little spare. You are not going to like this, but you are my mate. You are going to come with me to my pack. What? No, please, I can't. I'll graduate in 3 months. I have money saved up so I can leave here and go to college. It's the only thing I have had to hold on to all these years. I promise I won't tell anyone, believe me. I have no one to tell. Her pleas were breaking my heart. There was no way I was going to leave my mate in this hellhole. When your shift ends, we will go to your house together and quietly gather your things. Then we will head for my pack, where we can sort it all out. I promise. Third-person perspective. Spare should be mad every time she looked at him and smelled his delicious scent. She just went all weak in the knees. She wanted to scream, but all she did was nod her head. It shouldn't be too hard to get her things, since they will be gone. They were going out on the town tonight for some sort of celebration. Spare finished her shift and returned to Duncan's room. He was carrying a backpack as he guided her to his truck. Okay, my little wolf, time to get your things, and I will get you far away from here. He must be almost healed because he wasn't walking funny anymore. They drove in silence as they parked on a side street from her house. She took one look at him as she got out of the truck. He smiled a wolfish smile. Little wolf, don't make me chase you, at least not tonight. He could see her shiver as she walked back to her house. He knew he lied to her when he told her that the reason she had to go with him was that she knew he was there. He just couldn't leave here knowing she was living in that house with that family. He'd finally found his mate. He wasn't letting her out of his sight ever again. They would have to do something about her name. He refused to keep calling her Spare. Her mother was cruel for giving her that name. Spare grabbed what little stuff she had and the money she had saved up. She angrily fit it all into an old duffel bag. She grabbed Max, the teddy bear she made from all the torn-up ones Lily tossed away in her temper tantrums. She snuck back out of the house. She walked up to the truck, cursing herself and this mate bond crap. She yanked open the door, got inside, and slammed it shut. Just as her family pulled up into their drive, she ducked down low so they wouldn't see her. Not that it mattered that much. They could never see her anyway. It is a long 400 miles when there is an angry she-wolf in the truck with him. At first he said nothing, but when he looked over at her silent figure, he noticed tears running down her face. Crap, his wolf noted in his mind. You have to talk to her, and we can't have our mate crying. Look, I am sorry about your plans. I promise, though, to make it up to you. Your life is going to change being my Luna. My pack is strong, and we have over 2,000 members. All of us are warriors. You will be safe. I will make sure you never have to be around those jerks ever again. Won't your warrior pack be disappointed in a Luna that can't fight? I was never allowed to train. Duncan didn't even give a second thought about it. It didn't matter to him, and it won't matter to his pack either. He was more worried that she was so thin she needed to eat better. He was going to take her straight to the pack doctor for a checkup, make sure she is okay. Then they will have breakfast and get her settled in his room. He knew she was angry, and putting her in his room wasn't going to make things better. He didn't care. He was going to put her where he knew she was safe. Besides, she'd better get used to it. It was going to be her room, too. She'd fallen asleep 2 hours ago when they were almost home. 10 minutes later, he pulled up to the gate as the guards waved him through. He came up to the pack house and parked the truck. He looked over at her. She must have been exhausted to sleep so deeply. He decided to change his plans a little. He'd take her to his bed and let her sleep. He carried her inside the house as various pack members stared on in curiosity. Once in his room, he laid her down on his bed, took off her shoes and jacket, and then covered her up with his blankets. It was a very satisfying feeling to see her in his bed. He decided to look into her duffel bag. There wasn't much there that was for sure. An odd-looking teddy bear, a couple of t-shirts, a pair of jeans, a couple of pairs of underwear, and a bra. At the bottom was an envelope. He looked inside. It must be the money she had saved up. He counted them. There were over $3,000 there. He went over to his hidden safe and put the money in there for her. He took note of the sizes of her clothes and put them all neatly in the top drawer of his dresser. He left her to sleep and mind-linked his beta Marco to meet him in his office. Marco was already there waiting for him, with a big grin on his face. Ducan chuckled. Not much happens here that he doesn't know or find out. So Duncan, did you find something interesting at the Rising Nasty Moon pack? You know I did, asshole. I found my mate and you are not going to believe who she is. She is the most beautiful creature I have ever seen. Her name is Spare Williams. Yes, as in the Williams of Rising Moon pack. She is their second pup, fraternal twins. She is nothing like that selfish Lily. She found me knocked out on the hotel floor. She is, or rather was a maid there. That isn't a nice name, Marco said with disgust. How could a mother do that to her child? Seriously, this pack is terrible. Did you get any evidence before they made you? I got some names of places to look up and names of missing girls. Not all of them are wolves either. It seems they like variety. They are taking girls from human towns too, not too many at a time, and not at the same place. Maybe your mate will know a few things. I don't think so. She was living in the shadows. I doubt many pack members even knew of her existence. You are right, though. It won't hurt to ask her, even though she is pissed at me right now. Oh, really? And pray to tell you why she is pissed at you. Did you use your not-so-charming charm on her, perhaps? Nope. As it turns out, I ruined her plans to escape her pack. She was saving up every penny to make her way to college. I don't know what her life was like, but I can tell you it wasn't all that good. She is underweight, for one thing. She is as jumpy as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory. I can also tell you, she is smart and clever as well. She is also fast and is probably going to plan to escape here as well, at least till we can show her what a pack is really like. To be honest, I don't think her plan of escaping would have worked, even though they treated her the way they did. I don't think they would have liked her leaving. They would think, perhaps, that she knew too much. We will take it slow, Duncan. She is going to be scared and untrusting for a while, but we will win her over. Show her she doesn't have to give up her dreams either. Duncan, Marco went off to check the border patrol, and then I was off to bed. I sat in my office watching the fire in the fireplace, thinking of my wonderful mate and all the things that she was going to have to go through to be normal again. I know I am going to have to take it slow with her and earn her trust. I was going to go back to her family house and have a look around. I would have to use his special talent to become invisible. That whole pack is a den of vipers in serious need of being taken down. As for Spare's dreams of college, I had no problem helping her achieve that dream. I'd also going to have her change that name of hers. He wasn't going to let that name be a reminder of what they did to her for the rest of her life. I texted Marnie, my sister, asking her to get her enough clothes for a few weeks until they could take her shopping. Marnie was a very cheerful and wise 19-year-old she-wolf, but she also had a mean side if anyone messed with someone she cared for. She texted back that she would be there tomorrow afternoon with all the things that Spare might need. When it was time for bed, I had someone bring a spare cot to my bedroom. I wasn't going to frighten her right at the start by climbing into bed with her. When I got into my room, her scent hit me like a runaway train. My wolf wanted to be close to her and mark her right now. I cooled him off by reminding him that they had to earn her trust first. There she was, sound asleep in her bed. She might not know it yet, but it was going to be the only bed she would be sleeping in for the rest of her life. She was clutching that weird bear and my pillow. I'm going to have to ask her what the deal was with that bear. It looked like it was pieced together from a bunch of other stuffed toys. She was even more gorgeous in her sleep. God, her scent took on a warmer, sleepy quality to it, making my heart race. Sigh. This isn't going to be easy to go slow. I knew I was in for a tough time controlling myself, so I walked into the bathroom to calm down. Spare woke up feeling like she was still dreaming. The bed was so warm and soft, and there was a lingering scent that drove her crazy as she rubbed her face all over the pillow. She had never had a bed so comfortable before. She woke with a start, not knowing where she was till Artemis lazily informed her that they had spent the night in their mate's bed. She quickly got out of bed and looked around the room. It was huge, and there weren't a lot of decorations. On one side, there was a couch with a really large TV. The colors were mostly blue and gray. You could tell it belonged to a man. When she turned to look at the rest of the room, she saw him asleep on a cot. He didn't look very comfortable. He was half hanging off of it. She silently made her way over to him. The blanket was down around his hips as he was snoring softly. She took him in. No one should look this good, his broad shoulders and dark hair covering his well-muscled chest. Artemis was excited, making Spare's heart race too. His scent was so strong right here that she could barely control herself. She managed to stop herself before she almost touched him. She turned and found another door. Upon opening it, she found, to her joy, a bathroom. She had to pee so badly that her eyeballs were floating. She wondered what the rest of the place was like. When she went into the bathroom, Duncan opened his eyes. He pretended to be asleep to see what she would do. He could still smell her nervous excitement in the air. Running his hand through his hair in frustration, mind linking his wolf. "Apollo, this is going to be the toughest thing we have ever done." Apollo grumpily agreed and went back to sleep. He got up, put on some casual clothes, and waited for her to finish in the bathroom. He picked up her shoes, but they had holes in the bottom, so she put a piece of duct tape over them. He took the envelope with her money out of the safe and put it on the side table. He didn't want her to think she couldn't keep it. He went over to the drawer where he had put her clothes the previous night, and there was nothing great about them. She wasn't going to be happy, but there was no way Luna was going to wear those clothes ever again. He stood up and went to sit on his cot just as she was coming out of the bathroom. They looked at each other for a little while. Spare blushed and finally looked away. She sat down on the bed, defeated. Duncan saw this and cringed as he went and sat down on the bed beside her. "I have ordered breakfast for us both to eat here. I hope that we can talk about everything." She was grateful for that. She hadn't felt like meeting new pack members just yet. Just then, a knock came at the door. Duncan opened it, and two girls came in, giggling as they sat down the two trays loaded with food and drinks. They left as quickly as they came, which Spare was happy about. She didn't need anyone giving her looks. She hated being in the spotlight. It made her feel vulnerable. She sat down at the table looking at all the food. It smelled like heaven. "Is this all for me?" He nodded, not knowing how to respond to that. She wasted no time, grabbing her fork. She dug into the food with gusto. Duncan watched her eat. At least she had an appetite. It did make him wonder just how bad things were for her at that house. She was going to get all the food and snacks that he could give her. "So, little wolf, tell me about that weird-looking teddy bear. What is his story?" "His name is Max. I made him when I was 6 years old. I wasn't allowed any toys of my own. My sister, though, would throw huge tantrums and destroy her stuffed animals. So one day I started collecting parts out of the garbage and made Max." "Did you do anything with your family?" "No, I had to stay out of sight. I wasn't even allowed to use the front door." Duncan was getting more and more angry as this conversation progressed, and took a deep breath to calm himself and his wolf down. "How about food? If you were not allowed to be around them, how did you eat?" "When I was little, I waited for everyone to go to bed, and then I would sneak down and get some food. If they noticed things were missing, they never said, though I was punished badly when I got caught on one of my runs out of my room." Okay. He was going to have to stop asking those questions, or he would be punching out the walls. "I know that I messed up your plans to get out of there and go to college. However, let me say this first. You can go to any college you wish and study whatever you like." She got up and grabbed the envelope with her money inside, and she handed it to him. "Here. Take this to help pay for my things. It isn't a lot, really, but it's something. I can also work cleaning or cooking to earn the rest of it. You are not going to worry about money ever again. That money is yours to spend on whatever thing that catches your fancy. I don't want it, and you will not try to give it to me or anyone in this pack. If you do any cleaning or cooking, it is because you want to, not because you feel like you should pay for being here. I am going to spoil you rotten even if you don't like it. My little wolf, you are my mate and no one is going to hurt you ever again. You will want for nothing." She just stared at him with her mouth open in shock. "You can't be my mate. Claiming a mate is a bad thing in our pack. Well, Not every time, but usually more so than not. What do you mean by claiming a mate is a bad thing? Well, I only hear gossip here and there. But the last two girls that found their mates were rejected and disappeared the next day. Everyone said it was because of the pain of the rejection that they would come back in a while, but they never returned. And just last weekend it happened again to two more girls. I also heard rumors that their mates sold them. Duncan sat there in silence, stunned. What the hell was going on in that pack? Could they all be terrible people? Were the males rejecting their mates to make money? Spare. I want you to know that that is not normal behavior for mates. A mate is your other half, to be cherished and loved forever. It's a gift from the moon goddess. One more thing. I want you to choose another name besides Spare. I will not have that insult slapped in your face every time someone speaks your name. I don't know a name to choose, to be honest. It will come to you, don't worry. You have lots of time. My sister Marnie will be here soon. She has new clothes for you and all kinds of things, I'm sure. She loves shopping. Perhaps you two can come up with a name, just for today and tomorrow, too. I want you to relax and pamper yourself. When Marnie gets here, do whatever the girls do when they are together. Duncan. I didn't have any friends. My only friend is my wolf, Artemis. At the mention of her wolf, Apollo perked up and started to tell Duncan what questions to ask them. What does your wolf look like? Can you shift? Do you want me to show you? Duncan just nodded his head. The fact that she would show him meant that at least she had a little bit of trust in him. Okay, but turn around. I have never been undressed in front of anyone before. Duncan turned around. After a little bit, he heard a small wolf behind him. He turned back around to see the most beautiful wolf he had ever seen. She was snowy white with little black tips on her paws. She had even darker eyes than Spare did. Apollo was dancing around excitedly in his head. Artemis just sat and stared at him like she was sizing him up. Duncan quickly got undressed and changed into Apollo. He was a golden wolf with glowing amber eyes. Apollo goes down into a lying position so as not to intimidate Artemis. Artemis let out an excited little bark and went to Apollo, rubbing herself all over him. Apollo lay there smugly. Duncan felt his joy and was happy for him. Artemis then grabbed Spare's shirt and walked to the bathroom. Spare came out shortly afterward. Apollo was still there waiting for her. She reached out a hand to scratch him behind his ear. Apollo looked like a happy pup with his tongue hanging out to his side. You're very handsome, Apollo, thank you. With that, Duncan stood before her once again, undressed. She quickly turned her head, but not before she got a little peek at him and blushed. Duncan was happy, almost giddy. She is ours, Apollo. Nothing will take her from us, not even them. As Duncan came out of his thoughts, there was a knock at the door and his sister shouting for them to open it before there was an accident of massive proportions. He opened the door as his sister came tumbling inside, carrying bags and boxes of every shape and size. Marnie laughed. There is more coming. I sent Marco to bring up the rest. Marnie. I said just enough till I can take her shopping. This looks like you bought out every store. Oh, stop being a drama queen and start helping me. Duncan started unloading Marnie and putting it all down in the middle of the floor, just as Marco came in the room carrying a huge pile of things. He went straight to where Duncan put the other things and dumped them all into the pile. I have seen this before. Trust me, you don't want to stay. They will make you do things no man should ever have to do. Marco then turned on his heels and ran from the room. Duncan looked at Spare. She looked a bit confused. He walked over to her and took her by the hand. Spare, this is my little sister, Marnie. Marnie, this is my mate and Luna Spare. Marnie started to jump up and down in excitement. Sweet, sassy molasses, you did find your mate. Duncan leaned in and kissed Spare on the top of her head. I'm going to leave now. Got some work to do. You two have fun. Oh, maybe Marnie can help you come up with a new name. I meant it when I said I don't want you to remember all that terrible stuff every time someone says your name. With a very graceful bow, he left the room. Marnie went and sat down on the bed, taking Spare with her. We are going to be really good friends. I can just tell those sorts of things. We will talk as we go. With that, she started to pull things out of the bags before she even knew it. She had shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and body lotion. She had anything and everything that a girl could want in the toiletry department. Marnie was a whirlwind of energy. Now, she was taking out sundresses, jeans, t-shirts, sweatpants and sweatshirts, pajamas, nightgowns, bras, underwear, and a variety of nice clothes. What she was unsure about, Marnie just put in the closet anyway. Okay, now we are going to pamper you, give you a makeover, and everything in between. She ran into the bathroom and started the bath. Spare could smell all the stuff she was using. It was very strong. Marnie came out and saw Spare wrinkling her nose at the smell. I know, I got too much and restarted the bath. That smelled a bit too strong. Okay, it's time for your bubble bath now. Spare went into the bathroom and started to take off her clothes when she heard Marnie gasp. Spare knew what she was looking at and turned to hide them. They stared at each other for a little bit and then Marnie launched herself at Spare, hugging her. Marnie was crying and saying she was sorry over and over. Spare pulled back, looking at Marnie's tear-stained face. I never want to hear you say sorry ever again. What was done was not done by you. Never say you're sorry for the terrible things other people do. Marnie hugged her again and let Spare get into the bath. Now I want you to relax and try out all of the bath scents. I'll come and get you in half an hour. As soon as Marnie closed the door, she mind-linked Duncan. Did you know about all those scars on her back and legs? Marnie, what the hell are you talking about? Duncan, she has long scars across her back and upper thighs. She also looks like she hasn't eaten a good meal in a long time. Why is her name Spare? Marnie waited for Duncan to answer. Instead, the bedroom door opened up and there stood a very angry Duncan. He moved past Marnie on his way to the bathroom. Marnie grabbed him and pulled him away. If you go in there all angry while she is in the tub, you will never get her to trust you. The bathtub is where a woman is most vulnerable. So slow down and go back to your alpha chores. Duncan looked at Marnie a while longer till he calmed down. All right, I will leave, but I want to know anything and everything she tells you. Got it. Marnie nodded her head and shoved him out into the hall, closing and locking the door behind him. Lily walked in a fit of anger through the halls of her high school. No matter where she looked, she couldn't find Spare anywhere, and neither could any of her friends. Oh, that little bitch is going to pay for this. How dare she not show up to school? She was supposed to give Lily the answers for the test. If she doesn't get this one, she might have to take summer classes. There was no way in hell she was going to suffer that humiliation. There was no choice, she told her friends, to tell the teacher that she was sick and went home. She stormed out of the school, stomping her feet in 4-inch heels. She got to her brand new BMW and drove quickly out of the parking lot, heading straight to her home. Lily stormed red-faced into her house, her mother Joanne stopping her. Her mother hissed in anger, storming off to the attic to teach Spare another lesson. She better be dead up there. It was the only excuse she was going to take. When they got to the attic door, Joanne used her key and unlocked the door. They were met with silence. Turning on the light, they looked around. The room was empty. From the looks of it, she packed her things and left. Joanne became furious, pushing over the dresser, which smashed to pieces on impact with the floor. How could that little bitch do this? How dare she think she can leave? What do we do now, Mom? We find the bitch and make her submit again. I'm going to contact your father and tell him to get his ass home. She knows too much. We can't let her leave Pack territory. Joanne pushed Lily out of the house. Go and start looking for the little bitch, and when school is out, get your friends to help you. I'm going straight to Alpha Michael and inform him on what is going on. Lily drove off, unsure of where to look. It's not like Spare hung out anywhere she liked to go. She then got an idea, pretty rare for her. The little bitch had a job at a local hotel. Now she just has to figure out which one and start asking questions. To be honest, deep down she hoped that Spare did escape. Spare was now dressed in comfortable jeans and a soft t-shirt. Marnie had been doing her hair, trying out makeup and lotions, and during all this they were eating pizza. She now knew what it was like to be pampered like a princess. Marnie, what should I call myself? I don't want this name, even though it is all I have known. Well, is there another name you have always liked? You could try it on for a little while and see if it works for you. What does your wolf say? Spare mind linked Artemis. Well, do you have any ideas? Artemis was quiet for a while, and then she said, Adira. Artemis says Adira? I like it. Very well, I name thee Adira Marie MacPatten. I gave you my middle name as sisters, now we can share it. Marnie mind-linked Duncan and told him the name they decided on, so he could get all the paperwork ready. Duncan said the name. He and his wolf both agreed that it was the right choice. A beautiful choice. A perfect name for his perfect mate. As evening set, Duncan went to escort the ladies to dinner. This will be Adira's first time eating with others of the pack, so he is going to be as close as she will allow him to be. He never wants her to feel alone or not welcome. When she came down with his sister, he couldn't believe his eyes. Is it possible for her to be any more beautiful? It was getting harder to resist her. He reached for her hand, and she gave it easily, which pleased Duncan. No one is ever going to hurt her again. If they try, Duncan will stop them at all costs. He escorted her to their table and began to introduce her to his beta Marco and a few of the elders who were sitting with them. Everyone was happy about Duncan finding his mate, and they were welcoming to Adira. He watched her as he could see her visibly becoming more and more comfortable. She even was smiling while they were finishing up dessert. When Eric got home, it was chaos. His brother, the Alpha, was yelling out orders to various pack members. His wife was crying in the corner and his daughter was nowhere in sight. He looked at his brother. He had plans for that little bitch, and now they are all gone. Not to mention what the repercussions would be should she start talking to the right people. He wasn't too worried about her talking, though. For one thing, who was she going to tell? She knows no one. Nobody in the pack would help her. So how did she escape, and where is the little spare hiding? One thing is for certain, if he finds her, her days as a spare are gone. Just then, Lily came through the door. She went straight to the Alpha. Eric knew his brother had an inappropriate relationship with his daughter. He wasn't sure how that would end. If it continued much longer, he would end it himself. Alpha, I didn't find her anywhere. I did, however, find out where she was working, and they told me that she ended her shift early and left with a man. The name of the hotel is Ridgewood Inn. She was getting paid regularly and none of us knew. Alpha Michael let out an angry growl. Ridgewood is where we left that spy. You don't suppose that they knew each other? Maybe he somehow found out what family she is from and decided to take her. Alpha Michael was furious. His plans for that girl were going to make him a lot of money. Virgin werewolves were a rare thing anymore. As soon as he had one in his sights, she got claimed and sold as used goods. He has to get that little bitch back. Even if she was no longer a virgin, he was sure he could find another way for her to earn him some money. He was already aware that his pack was under investigation. Not like any of those investigators will find anything. They never do, or they can be bought. There was always at least one corrupt person in every group. Either way, I want that little bitch back and locked in my pack house. Once she is there, she won't leave ever again. If she is still a virgin, he is going to sell her to the highest bidder. If she isn't still pure, he would use her for his own pleasure. Not like he hasn't done the same with her sister. Just then, one of his enforcers ran in. We have a last name, Alpha. It is MacPatten. Did you activate the tracking tracer on her yet? Michael sometimes felt he had nothing but idiots as pack members. Yes, it is beeping at a distance of at least 430 miles to the north of us. The GPS will be up and running within the hour. So the little bitch has found a way out after all. Not for long, though. Soon he will have her back and make her regret ever thinking of leaving. Soon. Duncan sat in a chair at the pack hospital, waiting to see what the doc said about her health. He thought that it would be a quick check, but he has been waiting for 2 hours now. Just as he was about to go in there to make sure all was okay, the nurse came out to ask Duncan to follow her. He thought that he was going to see Adira instead. She brought him to the doctor's office. He started to get worried when he sat down, thinking of all the reasons he was there, and none of them were good. The doc took a look at his Alpha's worried face. I am sorry for keeping you waiting. We had to run all kinds of tests since she has never had a checkup. I called you in here because of the nature of my findings. The young lady has been through a lot. She is underweight and has several bones that have been broken but haven't been properly healed. The most disturbing thing we found, though, was this. He handed Duncan a small, clear container with a small device in it. That was implanted in the back of her neck. It is a tracking device. Not to mention all the scars on her body. Her wolf should have healed those without leaving any scars. That tells me two things. Either her wolf is just too weak or they were given wolfsbane to make them weak. She is a strong-minded young lady. She may start showing signs of PTSD. How bad it will get is unknown at this time. We won't know till she starts showing signs, so it's a waiting game. With that all being said, this is what I want done. First of all, she needs to eat, not just junk food, but real food, too. I want her to start eating 3 times a day with snacks in between. Also, I am sending her home with vitamins and a lotion for her scars to be applied twice a day for 2 weeks. It should help loosen them up so she isn't so stiff. He handed Duncan another bottle. These are for if she has a panic attack. They are quick acting. Also, if she wants, I can set her up with our pack psych doctor. She will have other methods for her to cope and so on. I also wish to tell you that if you were mated, you could help her a lot more with the mate bond. However, it's best if you let her go at her pace. Duncan was beyond angry. What had those monsters done to her? How much had she suffered? He will make sure that they don't get away with anything. He would take down the whole pack if he had to. Now follow me and I will take you to her, so you can go home. Also, we might have to have her come back to reset the bones that are not healing properly. I think it is also best if she shifts a little more and goes for runs, not long ones at first. Go slow and build them up in strength. Some blood tests won't come back for a couple of days. I will inform you if there is anything of concern in them. Oh, one more thing. This is something we are unsure about. I just wanted you to know that when she-wolves are abused, sometimes it will throw their systems out of sync. She may come into heat shortly. When they stopped in the hall, they were in front of Adira's exam room. The doc gestured for him to go in as he went on down the hall. Duncan peeked a little through the door first. What he saw made him furious. He mind-linked Marco to come to the pack hospital now. Duncan paced outside the exam room door as Marco came running to him. Marco took one look at his friend and knew he wasn't going to like what was coming. First, though, he had to calm him down before he started destroying things. Adira was dressed and waiting for Duncan to come and get her out of there. They were all nice, but she hated hospitals, mostly because of the smell. She wondered what was taking so long for him to come and get her. There was a full-length mirror on the wall as she looked at herself. You wouldn't know it was her at all, even if you compared the before and after pictures. At first, all Adira wanted was to escape from here and continue with her original plan. Now, though she decided that she might try it out for a little bit, her mate is really nice and handsome, his scent drives her crazy, and he also seems like a really good guy. She can't trust him too much just yet. She remembered the last lesson she learned by trusting a seemingly good guy. That won't ever happen again, ever. Duncan showed Marco the tracking device and he swore in anger. Who the hell are we dealing with here? I have some idea, Marco, but nothing solid yet. I have a job for you. I want you to take this tracker further north from here. About another 200 miles. Can you cover that kind of ground on your motorcycle? Yeah, it will be a cold ride, but I can make good time. Where am I taking it? You are going up to Cold Mountain Pack territory. You will meet an old friend of mine from the military. He will know what to do with it. His name is Jack. He is a werebear. With that, Marco took the tracker and ran out of the hospital. Getting that tracker as far away as possible. Let them track that into werebear territory and see how far they get. Jack Dawson, alpha of the Cold Mountain Pack, was a large pack of werebears. All of them were bikers. He sat just outside the forest, waiting for Duncan's beta. When Duncan told him everything that was going on with that terrible pack, he wanted to go down there and take them all down. Putting a tracker on a girl, there is only one, maybe 2 reasons that someone would do that, and neither of them was good. Jack could hear a bike coming off in the distance, perhaps 2 or 3 miles away. He hoped that those wolves would come here looking for her. He'd show them what bears could do to weak wolves. First, though, he would lead them on a chase right into the middle of his territory. He also sent 2 of his best hunters and trackers to Duncan to help patrol his borders in case they wanted a war. He was sick of this kind of cruelty. It seems like there's at least one terrible group in every were species, and he'd personally taken down another werbear pack last month. They were running drugs and kidnapping young human children. The motor of the bike coming up to him took him from his thoughts as he watched Beta Marco pull up to him. "Hey Marco, long time no see." He held out his hand to take the tracker. "Jack, I didn't know it was you, but I was told to hand it off to you." "Yeah, it's me. All right. You better get going. You don't want to hang around here too long in case they are already looking for her." With a salute, Marco was gone again. "Well, I better get moving if I want this plan to work," Jack said to himself as he disappeared back into the forest. Duncan took Adira out for dinner. She chose pizza. They sat together in a small booth, waiting for the pizza. Adira thought that this place smelled like heaven. She was looking forward to eating so much. She looked at Duncan. He was so handsome that she couldn't get enough of looking at him, and she realized that she was starting to trust him. He never berated her or was violent. He was patient with her. Mate bond or not, she wanted to know what it was like to kiss him. What if he thinks she is too forward and decides to cast her aside? Artemis growled in her head. "Will you stop that? Every time you start to doubt yourself or put yourself down, it is just another win for them. We made a pact that no matter how bad it gets, we will never give them the satisfaction. If they want to hurt us, we fight. If they want us to do something, we do the opposite. Remember, Adira, we are beautiful, smart, and strong. Our mate loves us as we are and is willing to stand by us through everything. If that isn't love, Adira, then what is?" Adira's eyes started to tear up as she mentally hugged her wolf. "I remember Artemis. I remember. I love you, Artemis." Duncan was looking at Adira. She was starting to cry, and he had no idea why. He could tell that she was talking to her wolf, but he had no idea what was being said. They were not fully mated yet, so he had no way of speaking to Artemis. That was when his wolf jumped in. "Maybe you can't, but I can." Adira was doubting herself, and Artemis was comforting her. "Apollo, come on. What else did she say? What is making her cry? Why was she doubting herself? The crying she is doing is because she is happy with what her wolf said to her. As for what made her doubt in the first place, Artemis won't tell me. She says it's a female thing." With that, Apollo went back to sleep. Duncan decided to take a chance and put his arm around her in comfort. She didn't try to move away. In fact, she moved closer. She rested her head on his shoulder, and he was lost in her warmth and scent. Thankfully, the pizza came then. He watched Adira eating the pizza and was glad that getting her to eat wasn't going to be a big problem. She had finished off half of the large pizza before he had finished his. She was looking at that last piece with a playful smile. Duncan looked into her eyes and realized that it was Artemis. He chuckled and slid it over to her. She gave him a bright smile, and before long it was gone. "Artemis?" Duncan asked. "Yes, Alpha Mate? Why are you here instead of Adira? It is a long explanation. Are you sure you want to hear it?" "Yes, we have plenty of time. It all started when we were very young. The neglect and abuse that she was going through. I knew I couldn't leave her to deal with it alone. I asked the moon goddess to help me find a way to save her. The goddess answered by allowing me to take Adira away from the pain by bringing her into my special world. She built a doorway, so when Adira was in trouble, I could go through the door and bring her to my side. When we were 10 years old, we learned to shift. However, we could still go through the door, sometimes together, and sometimes only Adira. That is where she is now." The pizza brought back a bad memory. She started to panic, so she went to my place and I came to her. "Why did pizza trigger a memory? Are you sure you want to know? It will make you angry. Tell me everything, Artemis. Please." That terrible Alpha has a way of knowing when the wolves shift for the first time. That's how he knows when they are vulnerable. He knew that we shifted at an early age. He came the next night. He said that he was proud of the little spare. He rewarded us with pizza and soda. We hadn't eaten in 3 days, so we ate without thinking. It was poison. He laced the pizza with wolfsbane. He started laughing when Adira started to get sick. He said it was for the best. "Can't have your wolf running away with you now. Can we? I believe that they poisoned us a few more times. It was always at random. It stopped when Adira got a job at the hotel. We couldn't afford much, but we did manage to buy our own food. That was almost a year ago. Adira would get off work early and we would hunt in the forest. Every penny we made that didn't go for food or personal things went into the box where we hid it to get away after graduation. Then, while we were cleaning rooms, we found you unconscious on the floor, and poof, all our plans got changed. Not that I mind even a little bit. I am happy it turned out this way. I wasn't sure if we could get away far enough without them finding us. Now that I know that those bastards put a tracking device on us, I am glad the goddess stepped in and changed our plans. I have to go now. I am tired after eating all that pizza. With that, Artemis was gone and Adira was back. He took one look at her pale face, knowing it was time to get her home. Come on, my little wolf. It is time we head home to our beds. Once they were out in the parking lot, Adira pulled him back before he got into his truck. Duncan looked at her but couldn't make out what she was thinking. Her eyes were full of emotion. She reached up and pulled his head down for a kiss. It turned passionate instantly as Duncan took over. He had her backed up to his truck door. He started to kiss her neck, and her scent hit him like a wave. He knew he had to stop himself, otherwise he would give in to his feelings right there. She let out a soft moan as he pulled away, carried her to the passenger side, setting her on the seat and putting her seatbelt on for her. On his way to the driver's side, he managed to get himself under control, thinking that he will be in trouble if she goes into heat early. He wasn't able to resist her in that state. They drove off to go home. Adira liked the sound of it. Home was his home and now mine. Knowing now that she could give him her trust, she decided to tell Duncan everything. Everything about the Rising Moon Pack, and where he can get the proof he has been looking for. With that last thought, she fell off to sleep with a happy sigh on her lips. Alpha Mako was waiting for the exact location to ping off of the tracker. One of his enforcers placed a map down on the table and started to put little pins in it for the various pings on the system.